Before we get into this, I'd like to say that it's great to see Chris Gore back. If you don't know, earlier this year at the FNT Friday Night Tights Vegas meetup, he suffered a minor stroke and was out of the running for a little while. And boy, did he pick one hell of a time to come back. As he details here, he's going to discuss about the first 3 episodes of The Acolyte coming to Disney Plus today at the time of this airing of 6/4/2024. This is from the live stream earlier today over at Geeks and Gamers, their channel. They discuss a whole other thing there with Critical Drinker, but Chris Gore stopped by out of the blue, sent a message just in time that he was coming in to let everybody know, and it looks like he's fresh from watching The Acolyte. Look at that hair.
I'll just say this. These first 2 episodes, they're pretty basic. They get you into the story and the world. Episode 3, I'm warning you now. It is going to completely lose everyone.
And he's not lying about this. We've heard Leslye Headland clarify that she pulled a lot of the roots for this story from her own personal experiences with her own estranged sister. Chris goes on to explain that this is painted all over the 3rd episode and lightly through the first 2. So you get this feeling this person's working out their own personal problems. That Leslye Headland, the former sidekick, or, she was the secretary for Harvey Weinstein, right? So this lady here, this gal, this Lego-headed lady, has decided to put her own personal family problems into the world of Star Wars. But it gets worse. It gets worse.
Holy shit.
It's I posted a mysterious tweet yesterday. I said, "May the thread be with you."
All right, so I don't know about you, but when I hear thread and it's applied in a mystical sense, I think of the red strand of fate, the red thread of fate that is in Japan, China, Korea, Asia, the Orient, if we're allowed to say that word anymore. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what that evokes for me. And this is a predestined line of events or attractions, if you will. In Japan, it's typically applied to like pairing up with a romance. That's where you see it most applied in popular media. I don't believe it's exactly limited to just finding your lover. I believe the red strand of fate is also about, people you meet in your life that may or may not be romantic. They may be people that belong in your, created family, built family, as opposed to your blood family. I'm not exactly sure, but when they evoke this word thread in a mystical sense, I am thinking of the Japanese sense, not the energy that is within us and around us that we can manipulate with our connection to the Force, you see. The Force is also made up of life itself, as we saw with the Force Ghosts returning with their actual human, or, well, in Yoda's case, physical visage, puppet visage, if you will. So we know that this is a life force, and now Leslye Headland has decided, psych! It's all some Oriental mysticism that I read about in a Wikipedia article that accidentally got rerouted from a Star Wars article. You wait, I'm right.
They completely redefine what the Force is. And
Look
you're
at
gonna
Ryan.
see
Ryan's ready to explode.
You're gonna see 2 mothers conceive twins.
Now, we heard rumors about this, remember? We heard rumors of this, and people were like, no, that's too crazy. They wouldn't go that far. Disney's nuts, but they're not that nuts. Oh, they're nuts. They went that nuts. They absolutely went that nuts.
A bunch of witches that are, it is, and basically...
Witches in Star Wars. Now, I know they come from that Clone Wars show that Filoni decided to put in, and I think a couple other novels, but witches in Star Wars. Whoever thought it was a good idea to introduce magic or the concept of witchery, if you will, witchcraft within the Star Wars universe, that guy, even if it's George Lucas, long walk, short pier, that was just ridiculous. You don't need that. You have an energy force that certain people with a certain type of sensitivity can access, some to a greater extent than others, as with the Skywalker family, okay? That's all you need. That's crazy enough. And then you start throwing in hocus pocus crap. There's no need for that. We already had female Force users on both sides of the Force. What was the point of a witch? Just to make it that much more edgy, I guess? More Hot Topic friendly? It even looks stupid when they applied it in the Ahsoka show. So you can bet it's going to look even more stupid when they're conceiving babies together.
The Jedi turn into cops and child protective services.
What did I tell you in yesterday's video? What did I tell you? The Jedi were going to become a police force. They were going to become militant. They were going to become ignorant and not flexible. That's right. I said that all yesterday. Guess what Chris is telling us today? That's exactly what happened. So we're back to episode 1, episode 2 all over again. We do not grant you the rank of master. Yeah, we're all back to this stuffy, militaristic environment. Then they're going to be forced into a war. Woo! Gosh, it's so predictable. It's painful, you know?
It's like they're the CPS of the galaxy. This went okay. Episode 1 and 2, whatever. You know, talk.
World
It's
building.
fine. 3 and 4, and get ready for pronouns in Star Wars.
There's pronouns in Star Wars. Let me say that for you again. Leslye Headland has introduced pronouns into Star Wars. Jabba has pronouns now. Okay? I just want you to wrap your head around that for a minute, right? We can't misgender the big giant sex abuse space slug, right? That would be mean. That would be bigoted of us to assume Jabba's selected gender. Jabba could be a they, them. But Chris goes on and he says more here a little later on.
Changes the world. And I'm just, it's
how appropriate is it that the weekend basically after, or 2 weeks after, George Lucas goes up on stage at the Cannes Film Festival and says, you know what? Nobody understands Star Wars.
See?
Nobody fucking understands the Force. Disney Star Wars lost its way. We're about to have this, which sounds like it destroys the Force entirely, all while Dave, the fucking queer just claps his hands along.
Seal claps.
As Leslye Headland destroys
Good job,
George
witches
Lucas's
in Star Wars.
I love it.
Yeah, it'll change things forever.
Okay, so there's Chris confirming it changes things forever, because remember, this is the High Republic. This is before the Skywalker saga. This is way back with Plagueis the Wise, when he was just concocting all this spooky stuff to get Anakin created on Tatooine, right? So that's what you're looking at right now, is that they've gone and fan fictioned it. As I said yesterday, they went and fan fictioned it. Leslye Headland went in and self-inserted herself in a time period in the past of where not the popular media is focused, right? Popular media is not focused way back in the KOTOR times. There is some media there, and that's what she's drawing off of. And that's why they've erased all of KOTOR and decided that's not real. This High Republic stuff is real, which is just KOTOR with a gender swap and paint swap. That's it. It's the loosest kind of copy-paste fan fiction stuff, self-insert stuff. And then we have Leslye Headland inserting her like maximum fetish of women being able to conceptualize children together, conceive children together. That's a fetish. That's a real life fetish that is now in Star Wars. I know you get these people that are interested in the goth aesthetic and they like the leather that the Sith wear and how they're all BDSM dressed up and stuff like that. But this is full on, unabashed breeding fetish, okay, in Star Wars now. They're not even trying to hide this from you, okay? They expect your kids to sit through this. That's the thing. Like, make no mistake, this isn't made for like 40-year-olds. This is made for teens and young adults. I promise you, there's a lot of Zoomer messaging in this. But here we go. Chris has more to say here.
You're going to get it. You're going to get it. There are two mothers. In the first episode, listen very carefully. He says, you lost your mothers and family in a fire.
Okay, so in the first episode, listen for this in the first episode, okay? It says, you lost your mothers. So that would mean that the character that is either in the first episode or is the protagonist is now the child of these two lesbians that conceived a child using force witchery with threads. Mark Zuckerberg's going to be ecstatic, you know? But that's what this has evolved into, right? It's now evolved into like some wish fulfillment idea where Leslye and her wife have a child and that child goes on to change the world. Because remember, This is not about telling a story about the ye olde times with the Jedi. This is about making the Jedi look bad, because as Leslye and the other runners of Star Wars right now, Kathleen and Filoni have indicated, they liked having the Jedi turned around into the bad guys. They want to embrace that ACAB thing, that all cops are bad people. I can't say the other word on YouTube. All cops are bad people motif for the Jedi. They explain that this is what's going to happen in Rey's movie. So guess what Leslye Headland is setting up long before even Anakin comes along. So that there's a thread running through this entire franchise now. And again, that's how fan fiction works. You go back and pre-establish something that either explains or fits in with something that pre-exists in the popular media, and thus you feel like you're part of the whole apparatus with your weird lesba baby and self-inserts. You heard me. Lesba baby self-inserts. That's what you got now. In Star Wars, mind you. This isn't like some like Rebel Moon thing. This isn't some random remember like that was Buzz Lightyear's movie where like his psych, I'm the real protagonist sidekick has lesbian moms, right? And this would be their backstory, right? This is Star Wars. This has lightsabers and war and people that choke people with their brains or spirit energy, however you want to do it. They focus really hard and wiggle their fingers and some guy can't breathe. That's there. And like the only way that Leslye Headland could figure out how to tell an interesting story there was with lesba babies.
Mother, and I had to go, wait, did she say mothers? I rewound it, mothers. That's episode 1. So, and then that pays off in episode 3, where you see the story of these 2 young girls.
So it's twins that they have, okay? So these two Force witch mother thread people, they conceive twins. Now, what do you want to bet that Leslye Headland was like, one is of the light and the other is of the gray? Because to the Star Wars folks that are writing now, the Greys are like Super Saiyans, I guess. They're the bestest of the best kind of Jedis, because they can do the bad and the good at the same time. Just like the writers in real life can be bad and good at the same time. It's very deep. You don't understand. It's very, very deep. I don't know who falls for this anymore. I don't know who looks at this and says, you know what? This is how I want to waste my day. I want to like take this seriously rather than plugging it in like a meme compilation or like a parody movie. At this point, it should be like a Star Wars movie, a Space Wizard movie. Remember that the Scary Movie franchise before? They did like a superhero movie. Well, they should be labeling the Acolyte a lesbian bisexual lit fiction paradise movie. You know, just compile all the episodes together into a 10-hour movie. Who cares, Disney Plus? People are barely going to be able to get through these first 3 episodes, according to Chris, before they're done with this entire franchise. You got to like listen to that. That's what he's saying, is like, by the time you make it to episode 4 in this franchise, there's no more Star Wars left. You are full on in Leslie's retelling of whatever she thinks Star Wars is, with witches who can make babies. Force babies. Force baby witches. In Star Wars. But I digress. That's just really where we're at today, right? That's where we're at today. Who knows what these episodes have that Chris missed, right? Because I like to be the guy that looks in the background. I'm the guy that spots the trans flag in Gwen Stacy's bedroom. I'm the guy that spots the coloring in the alleyway with her that matches the trans flag. I'm the guy that spots the little teeny tiny nods and winks in the background that you're not supposed to see, but your brain is supposed to see. I like seeing those things. So I can't wait to dig into the Acolyte and see what they hid in the background that your brain was supposed to see, but you weren't. But until we get to that video, I wish you good luck out there. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.